Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of The Focus TV. Got Octavia Wyatt here, Cardell Dudley Jr., Raymond Lyons, I'm Wilson Tarpey Jr. Man, we got a lot to discuss tonight. We're gonna get started with issue release. It's always a fun time around these parts. Cardell puts a whole lot of work in to every issue of Finance Magazine, man, and I'm lucky sometimes I get a little sneak peek. But we're gonna let him talk about that. It's not my business. It's for him to share. After that, like we told you guys, if you followed us on social, we're going to talk about some of these leagues and their impending. They're about to restart. I can't even say impending. We're just counting down to the days until they do start. We're going to see if all these proposed ideas and all the protocols and whatnot, if they work, if everything goes well. Also, we're debuting two new probe episodes, so we'll get to that in a little bit as well. And then, we got the 9450 breakdown, and as always, rapid fire. But Cardell, the floor is yours. Tell us about the latest issue of Finance Magazine.
I mean, in this issue, I'm just taking it back, so to speak, to the beginning to now. Just showing rare photos I never released before. I think IG kind of has a part of their system where they you got photos from years ago that pop up, stuff that I forgot about, and obviously when this pandemic came through and shut everything down literally. I just thought it would be a good idea to share some of these photos, and I just went through the collection. I got started with January 2012, so I literally have about close to 500,000 photos throughout that time just stored. And it was stuff I forgot about, stuff that I truly just forgot, moments I forgot that I watched, games I forgot I was at. And I just went through and just said I'm gonna make an issue kind of showcasing different rare photos that I've never put out there before, and then just break it down like as if I was in the gym talking to one of y'all, showing y'all a photo, just break down what happened at that time, and just share it. You know what I mean? And I also had a interview from when I was with the Dime, at Dime Magazine with the Dime family back in the day, where I had the chance to interview Nolan Smith right after he got drafted, who's now the assistant coach at Duke. Right after he got drafted to the Portland Trailblazers, and I sent it in, but for whatever reason they didn't put it in the issue at the time. So I just had it for all these years, and that kind of just popped up in my mind. I'm like, well, I might as well just put that interview out since I never shared it. Some good gems in there about him and his relationship with Coach K, and how his late father inspired him. And obviously the impact of the DMV basketball scene. At that time, which still applies to this day. So, you go ahead and check that out. It's never been read before, never been seen before. So, it's a lot. It's over 50 pages. And, I'm pretty sure people will enjoy it. I hope y'all do. So definitely check it out at financeMag.com.
All right, once again, head over to financeMag.com for the latest issue of Finance Magazine. As promised, we had two new probe episodes. Cardell knocked these out. We got another two on the way. He's knocking these probes out, man. I'm trying to keep up. Episode 31, we got Villanova's Saddiq Bey. And then episode 32, Georgia's Anthony Edwards. So you guys go ahead and check those out. We're going to take our first break after that. When we come back, I'm going to give you guys some updates on these professional leagues resuming, pretty soon.
In this episode, we focus on the local product who came on strong as a sophomore at Villanova and Saddiq Bey. The former Sidwell Friends standout emerged as one of the top forwards in all of college basketball, earning a unanimous All-Big East selection. His efficiency shooting the ball 6'8", and his potential as a versatile defender at the next level has NBA front office personnel fascinated with his overall potential as he continues to develop. Let's take a look at Saddiq. Strengths. Noah freshman guard Justin Moore dribbles out and passes to Bey. Bey drives right on Seahawk point guard Quincy McKnight, but is cut off. Bey stops on the dime, creating some airspace, elevates and hits the mid-range jumper. Nice adjustment off the bounce for Bey. Nova point guard Colin Gillespie passes to Bey in the mid-post while being defended by Seton Hall sophomore Jared Roden. Bey turns and faces Roden up, jabs right to create space. He raises up and knocks down the mid-range jumper. That's Bey's bread and butter. He's automatic from the mid-post. Justin Moore shoots the three. He misses. Nova forward Namir Cosby Roundtree grabs the offensive rebound. Bay slides down and receives the pass from Cosby Roundtree and knocks down a contested three-pointer. And one. Bay's ability to shoot the ball from all three levels with efficiency is what has league scouts so intrigued when it comes to him. Bay is being defended in a physical manner by Seton Hall Jr. Shavar Reynolds. Bay calmly uses his body to get Reynolds off him a bit. He reverse dribbles away from the screen, driving into the paint, and knocking down a tough jumper from mid-range. That's a pro-level bucket. Bay recognized his advantage, which was his size, and got to a spot on the floor where he could utilize his advantage over the smaller, quicker defender. A lot of players, when challenged, make it a one-on-one battle and fall right into the defender's hands, playing to their advantage. Bay showed great poise, took his time, and scored the basket. Pick and roll between Colin Gillespie and Jeremiah Robinson Earl. Gillespie passes to Robinson Earl. As Robinson Earl receives the pass, Bay sees his defender not paying attention for a split second, cuts back door, receives the pass from Robinson Earl, pumps fake Shavar Reynolds and scores inside. Heady play from Bay. Another plus for Bay is he's dangerous without the ball as well. He doesn't need to be ball dominant. Bay showing his poise, IQ, and skill on display. Villanova is up 3 with 22 seconds left in the game. Seton Hall is pressing full court, looking to force a turnover. Gillespie runs the baseline, passes it near half court to Robinson Earl, who then throws a quick bounce pass to Bay running the sideline to avoid being fouled. Bay then quickly passes ahead to a wide open Samuels for the dunk to pretty much seal the win. Great execution all around. Weaknesses. Bay is defending Mahmoud Shavili. As McKnight drives inside the paint, Bay loses sight of Mahmoud Shavili, who is popping out to three-point range calling for the ball. McKnight passes out to Mahmoud Shavili, who knocks down the triple. C-man the ball. I say it all of the time. McKnight was corralled by Gillespie and junior forward Jermaine Samuels. When he drove, there was no reason to focus on him that long and lose sight of Mahmoud Shavili. Bay on the island defending Seton Hall's go-to guy, Miles Powell. Powell just blows right past Bay for a lay-in. Above average to great defenders rarely get beat off the first move, especially from a basic drive. As effective as a defender Bay is, this is one area that is a concern at the next level. Does he have the athleticism to defend NBA-level guards and wings consistently? Justin Moore is defending McKnight. Bay is defending Miles Powell. As McKnight accelerates, Powell sets a backdoor screen on Moore. Moore is held up by the screen as McKnight drives left. Bay is slow to switch on McKnight, who is now moving full speed, resulting in a reverse lay-in. Bad mistake by Bay, especially at that point in the game. He has to recognize potential breakdowns early and adjust accordingly. Front court players have to be on point due to them being the last line of defense if a perimeter player is beat off the bounce. As skilled as they come for a player his size coming out in the draft, Bay has all of the tools, skill-wise, to make an impact in the league. The big question is, will his average athleticism hinder him? He will face monsters at his positions with the LeBrons, the Kawhis, KDs of the world. Will he be able to hold his own on both ends against guys his size or bigger and more athletic? Time will tell. He is young, so he still has room to grow physically and athletically. If that happens, he will have every opportunity to prove he deserves to be mentioned in that group down the line. Similar to the development of former Dallas Mavericks All-Star Josh Howard. To me, they're similar in how well they can score the ball, their defensive versatility and size. The difference is Howard played 4 years, so he came out physically more mature for the NBA, where Bay may need some time to get to that point. If he does, I wouldn't be surprised to see a similar career for Bay being a highly impactful two-way forward. We look at Georgia's dynamic freshman guard, Anthony Edwards, who could very well be the top overall pick in the NBA draft. He has all the prerequisite traits, size, athleticism, skill, toughness, feel to make an immediate impact at the next level. Let's take a look. Strengths. Georgia forward Tumani Kamara passes inside the 6'9" forward Rayshawn Hammonds, who has Florida point guard Andrew Nembhard posted up. Hammonds fumbles the ball, and Nembhard steals it. Edwards runs back, and as Nembhard tries to throw a bounce pass to Scotty Lewis, Edwards uses his left to get a hand on the ball, deflecting the pass. Jordan Harris recovers the ball and passes ahead to Edwards. Edwards crosses over on Florida forward Keontae Johnson and passes to Hammonds, who drives and finishes strong. Good plays on both ends for Edwards. Edwards moves up the court, probing the floor. He dribbles left off of Tamani Kamara's screen to the top of the key. Florida is aware of Edwards' scoring shooting ability, and Edwards knows they're aware. So he draws both Wayne Blackshear, who has switched out on Edwards, and Scotty Lewis hustling to get back on him. Edwards then throws a beautiful bounce pass and stride to Kamara, rolling to the basket for an easy dunk. Some question Edwards' playmaking ability. I don't. He's pretty damn capable, as you can see. Great defensive awareness. Nembhard brings the ball up with Edwards defending. Nembhard passes to Johnson outside three-point range. Blackshear sets a back screen on Edwards as Nembhard looks to set up another back screen on Tamani Kamara, allowing Blackshear to post Edwards up deep in the paint. As Nembhard is denied well, Kamara out on the perimeter. Johnson throws a bad pass and straight to Edwards. Edwards raises up the floor and throws a nice lob to Jordan Harris for the two-hand dunk. Edwards once again displaying his underrated playmaking skills. Severe Wheeler passes the ball ahead to Edwards. Edwards sees the shorter Nembhard in front of him. Edwards hits Nembhard with an in and out, making Nembhard bite and knocks down triple from the NBA range. This is what makes Edwards special. He's a rare player that can score and shoot. They don't come along often. Edwards has the ball near half court. He drives right into the paint, but is cut off by Dante Bassett, setting up to take the charge from Edwards. Edwards sidesteps him and throws a pass back out to Jordan Harris, who drives inside and scores. And one. Great feel and instinctive play from Edwards to make all of that happen. Edwards being aggressive, driving into the lane and making it a runner, fading left to avoid Nembhard. Nice athletic play. Jordan Harris drives to the lane and passes to Donnell Gresham Jr. The pass is tipped out, but Gresham Jr. recovers. He passes out to Edwards, but Scotty Lewis does a good job of running out to prevent a wide open three-pointer from Edwards. Edwards doesn't settle. He drives by Lewis, draws multiple Florida defenders, and drops it off to Ty Fagan underneath the basket for an easy score. Another great pass from Edwards. Here, Edwards showing his freak athleticism. Xavier Wheeler passes him the ball just outside three-point range. Edwards explodes left, blowing by Scotty Lewis and punching it home. This is league-level stuff. Florida barely had time to react. When Edwards doesn't settle for jumpers and mixes in a steady dose of strong, explosive drives to the basket, there is no stopping him. Weaknesses. Out of bounds set by Florida with Edwards defending Scotty Lewis. As Lewis runs to the corner and quickly cuts into the lane off Blackshear's screen, Edwards is held up, resulting in a Lewis layup. Georgia had been switching for the most part in the first half. Edwards could see Hammonds was stuck on defending Blackshear and forgot to switch, but that doesn't excuse Edwards from not fighting over the screen more to get back in the play to either make it a tougher shot for Lewis or possibly get the stop altogether. Florida ball. Florida guard Noah Locke runs baseline with Severe Wheeler giving chase. Locked in reverse course, running back to the corner outside three-point range. As Wheeler tries to recover, Johnson sets a screen to stop him from giving chase. Edwards is in the area to switch out and possibly deny or deflect the pass, but stays with Johnson, resulting in another three-pointer from Locke. Edwards has great defensive potential, but limits himself by not being as aware of everyone on the court as he is the guy he's assigned to. Great defenders make the opposing team feel that they are everywhere on the floor. He has a ways to go to get there, but it's in him to do so. Keontae Johnson gets the pass from Nembhard, blows by Edwards with very little resistance, and dunks it home. Can't have the offensive player beat you that easily. It's a battle between Edwards and LaMelo Ball as to who is the most talented player in the draft at the guard position, but Edwards physically, his frame, and athleticism may be the difference. He has an NBA body and will be among the better athletes as soon as he steps on the floor. Adding his skill set, and you can understand why he has franchise star potential. To me, he's a combination of David Thompson and Dwayne Wade. He has Wade's build, size, playmaking, scoring ability, and he has David Thompson's shooting ability, along with both of their elite athleticism. He's truly a freak. If he makes up his mind to be committed to mastering the details of the game on both ends like a Kobe Bryant, there will be no stopping him.
All right, welcome back to the Focus TV. Cardell, great job on both probes. Hope you guys, once you saw them tonight, you can definitely go back again. That's episode 31 and 32. Get back to each and every one of these. Very good series. We're going to start talking about these leagues coming back. I guess we can start off with the NBA since that's been like the hot topic for the last 48 hours. We're going to talk a little bit more about the NBA in depth a little bit later. But just right now, in terms of when everything's going to start back up, just some quick dates. June 21st, all players report to their home market. 22nd, transaction window begins. June 30th, training camps open. July 7th, teams travel to Orlando. July 31st through 14th, those are when the seeding games begin. That's where that 8-game stretch is to get determined who's officially in the playoffs. August 15th through 16th, we got play-in tournaments. First round of the playoffs is August 17th. August 31st through September 13th, second round of the playoffs. September 15th through 28th, conference finals. September 30th, NBA finals begin. October 13th, game 7 if necessary. That is a very, very compressed schedule. Before we go on, just if you guys share your thoughts on the league real quick. And again, we're going to get into another topic a little bit deeper later, but just your initial thoughts on this compressed schedule. You can start with you, Octavia, and then work our way around.
For me, I think it's very ambitious of them because, like you said, that's a lot to do in a short amount of time. As I said last week, I feel like most of it is I'm just concerned about how their bodies are really going to be able to bounce back. Because, like we talked about, a lot of players, are fortunate enough to be able to have their own courts, their own gyms, and stuff like that. But a lot of the other players don't. So I'm interested to just see how well everybody is still in shape. Getting back in full-blown NBA professional basketball playing shape is usually, off-season periods of time for them to get reps in and even time to get, acclimated with their teammates. They haven't seen their teammates, or I'm sure they've seen them, but they haven't had like serious practices and stuff like that. And as far as when training camp starts, they really only get about 2.5 weeks ish before the 31st of July, which is when it's slated to start. So I give the league credit for coming up with such a comprehensive plan, because I feel like it takes, a serious thought behind to figure out how they can logistically make this work in a one place for 22 teams. So I give them props for that. I'm just still ready to see how it really works out. I really hope that nobody gets injured. I hope that everybody is able to actually play to their level. I just, as much as I'm selfish and I want live sports and I want to see the season, I just don't want it to be at the expense of their health and their, careers going forward. But I'm ultimately just excited to see how it goes. Like, if how they have it mapped out is how it's really going to be able to play out starting July 31st.
Ray.
I wish them the best, man. Like, this is, I think Octavia chose the perfect word. This is extremely ambitious on their part. You're coming off basically a longer break than the traditional off season, and you want guys to fully jump back into basically playoff mode. This has got potential for disaster. If I'm being honest, you know, they already talk about, you know, the schedule and all that. They're basically going to be playing every other day under this model, and you know, to come back under that type of duress, you know, from this long layoff where guys aren't really have access to the same resources and facilities they're used to. You know, as I'm concerned for the product. I'm concerned for the players' health. I think I don't think this is the smartest thing to do, but you know, I guess it's their job to try. But yeah, like I said, if it goes on, you know, I wish them the best. Pray everybody gets through it healthy, and we get through this thing with no real issues.
Cardell.
And like I said, it's kind of a we'll see, you know, kind of thing. I don't think it's going to be as bad as people feel. I don't think it's going to be as great at first. You know, one thing people also got to remember that all of the teams and all the players were sitting out. So, you know, it's not like one team was still practicing or whatnot. So when they get on the floor, they moving at a different speed and they're in tip-top shape than others. You know, all of them are mixed together. And they have somewhat of a small training camp where they can try to get their legs back under them and all that. Then use the games to get back in shape. So when the playoffs do come, you know, they can kind of be back in the flow, so to speak, for the teams that will be there. You know, in a sense, it's kind of going back to the old school schedule. You know, you got grinding. I know they've been sitting out and whatnot, but that's why they pay a lot of trainers a lot of money. That's why they pay the coaching staffs a lot of money. You got to understand that you may have to monitor players' minutes to salvage their bodies at first until they get back in, you know, shape. And that's why they get paid the big bucks. We're going to talk about it later why. I just don't, you know, for the players, you know, that are in agreement that they should play, I just don't see how they can avoid it. You know, it is what it is. Otherwise, it's going to lead to something much, much worse in a lot of ways. And we're going to talk about that later. But just be smart. You know what I mean? Don't play guys 48 minutes in all those games. You know what I'm saying? You might have to do a lot of stuff and you might have to be creative, man. It's just there's ways around it where they can salvage their body and stay ready, stay sharp, put in extra work or whatnot. And for people that ain't been down to Disney, you know, we played down there one summer down you know, the AAU national championships back in high school. It's a big complex. It's like run and shoot on steroids. So they had plenty of time, plenty of course to get out there, get reps up. You know, it's not like All-Star Weekend where it's like a convention center in the main arena. And, you know, in that city, it's a lot of course where they can get in and get extra work, you know, treatment, you know, all that. I know the NBA gonna have absolutely everything because they don't want it to go bad. They can't, honestly, they really can't afford for it to go bad. So I think it's just about being smart. You know, obviously the coronavirus is something that no one can predict. That's just, you know what I mean? You know, like Michelle Roberts said, she pretty much got in her mind someone will get it. It's just a matter of we gonna have measures to help that individual recover and not possibly spread it to other people. So, I mean, this is unprecedented. You know what I mean? So it's just, you know, we got to see what happens. You know, just straight up.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you all. And again, I know we're going to talk a little bit more about this later. Both sides can't afford for it not to happen. That's the end all be all here. We get into the finer points of that a little bit later. But okay, I'm gonna move on to the WNBA with some updates for them because they plan to get started. July is the month. All right, July is the target month for everybody. WNBA each team play 22 games. Regular season starts in late July at IMG Academy. Players will receive full pay and benefits. The season will feature bold commitment to social justice. And just a reminder, not to be a bearer of bad news or anything like that, before we get too excited, you got to keep an eye on how many players, how many players on each team are truly going to be committed to playing. Again, not judging anybody who sits out no matter what sport, but that is their option, that is their prerogative, that is their choice freely to choose if they would like to play or not play. So just a quick little, again, just a little disclaimer. Don't get too excited till like the rosters are legit finalized for all 12 teams. But Cardell, want to hear your thoughts on the WNBA restarting, and we'll go back around.
As usual, the ladies they get it quicker than the dudes and than the fellas. But obviously just happy that not the fact that they're just coming back. I'm happy that they got everything that they needed. You know, as far as coming back, they getting their full pay, full benefits. If they want to speak out, don't have to worry about punishment. Just salvaging the season. Because unlike the dude, well, most of the league and on the NBA side, they need the money too, but the ladies definitely need it because overseas is not an option right now. You see what I'm saying? So it's not fair to kind of cancel that. Plus, um, for them, it's not like a long, stretched out season like the NBA. They're used to playing a short, condensed season in a matter of few months. So I don't think the adjustment will be as bad for them as it is for the fellas trying to come back and finish this season or whatnot. So I mean, clearly they're with it and I'm with it. You know what I mean? Who am I to judge? Like I said, same thing with the fellas. Just be smart. Just protect yourself. Don't take unnecessary risks and just get back to doing what you do. You know what I'm saying? But also, most importantly, don't lose your voice if that's what you choose to do to speak out. Because we need all hands on deck for what's going on in the society right now. We can't lose that with the basketball. Use that platform and be annoying. Like you see basketball, you see racial injustice, need equality, all that. We need all that. Bottom line. So I'm happy for it. Obviously with them going back to work, that means we about to go back to work soon. So, it is what it is, man. But and then definitely on the Mystic side, man, they deserve the chance to defend their championship, man. You know what I'm saying? Just the hard work they put in. They haven't even had a parade, man. They really got the short end, man. It's just when they finally cracked through, all this crap happened. So, I'm just excited to see it, man. So because they really can't afford to take the financial hit. You know what I'm saying? Because they talking about the fellas voting not to play. It'll be a lockout possibly. The owner's gonna be, it's gonna get ugly. So they definitely cannot afford it, especially when they just got the boost in their salary and stuff and a lot of things that they've been looking for. Man, they got to keep expanding the game. So it's a different track for the women's side. But obviously they're more together. They're more unified. Honestly, more mature. With what's going on. They got it real quick and they got it done with no drama. So it is what it is.
Right. On the WNBA return.
Yeah, just echoing Cardell's sentiments. I'm glad to see that they're able to, to have a season. Um, like just from a practicality standpoint, it's easier for them because they're actually in their off season. They weren't interrupted in any way, well, so to speak, in terms of in regards to playing. But yeah, sounds like they got a functional plan. It's not going to be too far off from what they're used to, aside from all teams being in one centralized location. Um, and again, in regards to everything in terms of the climate of the country and all that, it just seems like they're more together and unified. Like Cardell said, from the inherent things going on in the NBA standpoint, it's certain players want to and certain players don't, and then there's the mix of the social justice aspect, where on the WNBA side, the league is pretty much championing that cause on behalf of the players. So it just seems like a more fluid process going on over there. But again, it's a very pivotal time in the WNBA's history. They just got a lot of momentum coming off last season with the new CBA, and that this free agency was probably the most fireworks I can remember from in the WNBA. So and it's a lot of buzz. Their virtual draft was well received. It was I think it was the most watched in the last 16 or 17 years. The momentum going. And it's good for the women's game. And I'm glad that we just won't see a complete halt to that. But again, just be cautious, be smart. Just make sure we can get through this thing healthy.
All right, Octavia.
Well, like you both already stated, I just think it's awesome that they got this done as fast as they did, especially because unlike the NBA and like hockey, they were preparing to start their season. It's not like their season got cut in the middle. So the fact that they were able to figure it all out as fast as they were, I think it was great. I think it's like you both said, it's imperative that they have the season because we already know the disparity between NBA checks and WNBA checks. But a lot of WNBA players are able to make up somewhat of the gap by playing overseas. But with what's going on in the world right now, that's out of the question. So a lot of them will take very significant hits because unlike NBA players, they all don't get the same endorsements as NBA players as well. So they have a lot more riding on it. And I think hopefully that's something that had the people in, the higher ups pushing for this to get done as fast as they could, knowing those things. I also liked the fact that they are able to receive 100% of their pay because they will be playing a full season. So I think that was great for them to come out and actually state that. I'm not saying that the men's don't because I don't know for sure. But I know that there were some discrepancies, I believe, in MLB about if they're receiving full pay or what. So I think that's amazing. It shows how far the WNBA has come, but knowing that they still have, a ways to go is still realistic. But I love it. I think it's a great, thing that they were able to get all of this taken care of as fast as they were. I love it that they're openly saying that they encourage their players to still speak out, have their voices, and not be afraid, or any type of reprimand or anything like that. But I always feel like the WNBA has always been more on the inclusive side anyway. You see them in years past already wearing, they talked about the I Can't Breathe shirts. They always talk about Gay Pride, which is Gay Pride Month this month, I believe. They've always kind of been socially, involved. So I didn't expect for it to be any different. I just like the fact that they actually came out and stated it. That they have a lot that they can do while still playing the game that they love and still impacting the world. So I just think it was great all around.
Yeah, there's not much left for me to add there. Like Cardell said, eager for the Knicks to get a chance to defend their title. And, side note, I know we'll talk about this in the coming weeks. A lot of people already throwing them to the side in terms of possibly being there once again. So that'll be fun. It's another conversation for another show. But MLS, just to finish this whole news update thing, DC United just resumed full team training yesterday. They're currently getting ready for the MLS's BAT tournament. They're in Group C with the Montreal Impact, New England Revolution, and Toronto FC. June 24th, teams are set to arrive in Orlando. The tournament goes from July 8th to the 11th. There's 54 matches, 39 group matches, 15 knockout matches. The number of match days is 26. The format of the tournament is group stage, round of 16, quarterfinals, semifinals, championship. Minimum matches, 3 per club. Maximum, if you're there hanging around the end, 7 per club. But we're getting ready to take a second break of the night. Right before doing so, Jamal Hayward, 9-4-50. This week, he's breaking down a double crossover. Again, he's breaking down a double crossover. You're watching the Focus TV. We'll see you guys on the other side of the break.
Today, we're going to work on double crossover. We're going to show you different ways to utilize it and do it in a game situation. So, a regular double cross, starting with your right hand, keeping the crossover below your knees. Or you can start with your left hand. So now, there's 2 other ways that you can do it. So, when I start with my right hand, my first crossover can be slow, then the second one can be quick. So I can drag the first one, cross back, okay? Or start with my left hand, drag the first one, cross back, okay? So now, with the footwork on that second crossover, so I drag the first one, I step my left foot out quickly, and then I cross back more violently, okay? So the first one's slow, quick. First one slow, quick, okay? Now, I can do 2 drags as a double crossover. From here, 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 here. Start with my left hand, here, here, okay? So, again, 3 different versions. Regular, or my left hand. Slow, quick, slow, drag, drag. 3 different versions. Today we're going to work on double crossover. We're going to show different ways to utilize it and do it in a game situation. So a regular double cross, starting with your right hand, keeping the crossover below your knees. Or you can start with your left hand. So now, there's 2 other ways that you can do it. So when I start with my right hand, my first crossover can be slow, then the second one can be quick. So I can drag the first one, cross back, okay? Or start with my left hand, drag the first one, cross back, okay? So now, with the footwork on that second crossover, so I drag the first one, I step my left foot out quickly, and then I cross back more violently, okay? So the first one slow, quick. First one slow, quick, okay? Now, I can do 2 drags as a double crossover. From here, 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 here. Start with my left hand, here, here, okay? So, again, 3 different versions. Regular, or my left hand. Slow, quick, slow, drag, drag. 3 different versions.
Welcome back to the Focus TV. And once again, just want to thank Mr. Jamal Hayward over at 9450 for knocking these out each and every week. See him out there in the elements, handling that segment like a champ. All right, Cardell, what is this, like the 3rd discussion we're about to have in the last 3 weeks? Almost as often as we have a show, we have another discussion segment. So just to give you an idea, what's like, this is how wild it is out here. Like, this might
Wilson.
Wilson, come back.
All right, man. You there?
I think I'm back.
Oh, okay.
Man, that cricket service, boy, I'm trying to tell you.
Leave Verizon alone like that. But go ahead, Cardell. Floor is yours, sir.
All right, I was just making it because we ain't hear nothing you said, but I got you. In this week's discussion, we're gonna talk about the resumption of the NBA. There's a lot of noise been made by the new NBA Players Coalition saying that resuming the NBA season will be a distraction amid the fight against racial injustice. What is each one of your thoughts on this situation? We're gonna start with you, Octavia.
So for me, I see both sides. I can see how some people could say that, but on the other side, like, I feel like, number one, it'll be a great release for people and their mental health, me personally, because to me, it's cool to balance some stuff. Like, I would like to just see some basketball, not have to look at the news every 5 seconds, not have to, shield myself from social media with everything that's going on. But I think that they can do it and still keep the conversation going. I understand, feeling like it's a distraction, but these are problems that's been going on for 400 years. The problem is not going to get fixed overnight, and them playing basketball isn't going to stop or isn't going to fix it or not fix it either way. So I don't see the big issue with them playing. I understand certain players have their personal feelings about it, but I think they can still do the same things that they want to do. They just have to be collective together and do those things and stop talking about it. You know, like there's still plenty of stuff that they can do while a season is going on, while they're still fulfilling their obligations technically, because you're on a team. This is your job. You can't just be like, oh, I want to go back to work yet because, but I understand that this is on a higher scale because they're professional NBA players and it's a professional season and everybody's going to watch. But like we've said in the last couple of weeks, I feel like this is a different protest. I feel like that this is different than the ones that we've had in the past. Like of course I can't see into the future, but I don't foresee everybody giving up as easily as we have before. To me, it's just different. Something's different about it. And I don't think that them playing will take away from it, honestly. But like I said, I understand both sides.
All right, Raymond, on you.
Yeah, man, this is it's a lot, but like Octavia said, I can see both sides of it, and personally, I don't have a strong feeling one way or the other. If every player said, you know what, we're not playing basketball until you know all these killer cops get arrested and some legislations in place, I will applaud that to the high heavens. If they decide to play, then that's fine too. I'm not here to tell another grown person what to do with their life. What's bothering me about this though is is basically the full on attack towards Kyrie. For him sharing his feelings and speaking his mind. Whether it's coming from other players or members of the media or what have you. You know, I find it that a guy saying, "Hey, you know what? I don't want to play basketball because of all this going on and all the racial injustice," and for people to attack that and call it foolish and stupid, that's not sitting well with me. And for whatever reason, um, people have an issue with that. If you don't agree or feel different, just come out and say, "Hey, I want to play basketball." That's fine. You don't have to attack this man. And it's creating a unnecessary divide. Um, he didn't attack anyone for wanting to play. He just said, I feel like it could be a distraction, which it could because ESPN is posting a lot of Black Lives Matter and showing players at protests and all that. But when they're all sequestered in the bubble and playing basketball, guess what most of the content is going to be? It's going to be about basketball. They're going to start, talking about who's going to win the championship. Will this season have an asterisk beside it? They'll start this stupid Michael Jordan, LeBron James debate again. So yeah, I can definitely see how it can be viewed as a possible distraction. But again, if the sentiment was to not play because of what's going on, I think that sends a huge message. And them playing, doesn't totally eradicate the possibility of continuing to fight this fight, like Octavia said. So yeah, a lot of people are going to feel a lot of different ways. The strong reaction and vitriol Kyrie received was surprising to me. Actually, I'm like, man, like if that's the response for a guy saying, "Hey, I want to continue to fight this fight 100%," and it's weird because he's not the only person that said that had that echoed the same feelings. Lou Williams came out pretty much said the exact same thing. I don't see any mud getting slung his way. Dwight Howard as well. So it's pretty interesting why Kyrie's comments are being focused on. From a media standpoint. Again, that could be a whole nother rabbit hole. I'm not really willing to go down right now, but yeah, it's just interesting to see how this all is playing out.
Are you
Yeah, I think this is one of the cases where I know this is hard for some people, but multiple things can happen at the same time. Um, and it doesn't take away from either side. So, like with Kyrie sharing his feelings and whatnot, there's nothing wrong with what he believes at the core to a man. But at the same time, folks got to understand that if he's speaking up for himself, he also has to be aware of anyone else he may be speaking up for. Just like anybody in sports as a whole, whether you choose to play or don't play, that's completely up to you. But the vote got passed for them to play because the other side of this is living in reality, because multiple things do happen in life at the same time. Is the players, the NBA is one of the rare situations where that splits 50-50, right? If the season was to not happen, they're not going to get back to this place where it's 50-50 again. Cool. One thing Ed Davis said, I think it was an article on ESPN, like maybe within the last 48 hours, and he talked about like the fights being fought on many different fronts, right? So for someone like Kyrie, if he can afford to miss the games, I think somebody broke down the percentages for those that can afford to miss, and if you want to take that time and literally go action to go fight the fight in a different type of way, so be it. But at the same time, so many eyes are going to be on you for the reason that Octavia mentioned, in terms of people need a release from literally reality when everything's going on. But the other thing is the players with the control that you've worked to get over the, for however many years, it's 50-50 right now. It's on you to make sure that it doesn't go away. Don't let the network slide. And they're going to still have I think, and post-game availabilities, even if it's virtual. It's on you to make sure that the message doesn't get lost in those specific areas. Again, there's nothing wrong with folks. Just like, for example, Maya Moore gave up her craft to go fight a fight that she truly, powerfully believes in. And that doesn't mean that any WNBA player that did not follow her and is fighting in another way doesn't make them any less, doesn't make them a bad person. So same with the NBA for me. It's just, I feel like it's a whole lot going on where it's kind of simple to me. You can accomplish the same things multiple ways. And it's up to each man to choose how they do it. One thing I did like with the Players Coalition, I think that Avery Bradley mentioned, is something that where he's saying that they would like kind of NBA to take a page out of the WNBA's book, in the sense that they promote all the, they promote I'm trying to find the right way, that they kind of jump behind the players the way the WNBA does in their messaging, to a degree that they would like to challenge the NBA to do the same thing. But go ahead, Cardell.
To me, would it be a distraction against the fight against racial injustice? Hell no. I get the coronavirus scare. It's the reason why players may not want to go. It's a very real thing, which is why I'm looking at folks crazy out here walking around with no masks, being in group settings like it's a cure to eliminate this disease. But this will be a great chance to hold corporations' feet to the fire. That's the real, one of the main reasons why they should play. If Kyrie said this and his words weren't taken out of context, because keeping it real, none of us were on the call except the players, then to me, he is tripping. You can use your platform to continue to fight against racial injustices however way you choose. And since when has the protesting of, and fight of social inequality been a reason for players wanting to sit out? You know what I mean? And, this has been going on forever. It's happened to their peers. Where was all this when Thabo Cephalosha was arrested in April 2015 outside the, One Oak nightclub in Manhattan? He was jumped by police and beaten to the point he suffered a broken leg and ligament damage, which took away a year or two of his career. Now he did fight and get a $4 million payout, but he can't get back what he lost those 2 years. I'm pretty sure he'd have made more than that in half a season in one of those seasons he missed. Where was all this in January 2018 when Sterling Brown was beaten and tased by 8 officers over a parking violation in front of Walgreens in Milwaukee? All the players did was put up a praying hands emoji and say, "Get better, bro," comment. That's all it was. So I'm finding it weird after, like Wilson said, the vote was 28-0. The season's been canceled since March. Okay, you had all this time to express concerns and all that, holler at the league or whatever, because you knew this would possibly be a thing where they may try to resume the season. It wasn't over because they didn't officially say it was done. So where was all this dialogue this entire time? So then when the vote comes out, it's 28-0. It wasn't like, whatever, 15-13 or something like that. It was 28-0. It was unanimous. And then all of a sudden you come out with this player coalition where Kyrie's on it and stuff like that. And when they started naming names from it, it immediately hit me to say, well, where was LeBron? Where was Steph? Where was Russell Westbrook? Where was the top dogs? Where was Kawhi? Even though he's Kawhi, Giannis. Where all the real top of the food chain in the league? Where were they at? They wasn't even on the call. So that tells you where it really is. And then LeBron, LeBron's strategic, he's smart. When he finally said, yo, we could do both in Orlando, to me, it was dead. Now, people was getting at Patrick Beverley for keeping it real, but it was real. He's the face of the league. So if he put it out there, people, y'all got to pack up. Now, you don't have to, you can, like Adam Silver said, you do not have to play. You don't have to play, but you ain't going to get paid either. You see what I'm saying? So you can't have it both ways. And that's why I'm looking at, Kyrie and Dwight, y'all speaking up now. What was all this months ago? You see what I'm saying? It's weird to me, man. You know what I'm saying? And then they saying a lot, man, but they're not really saying nothing. Because, all right, I get how you feel. You have a right to feel that way. So what are your steps to try to hold the league to the feet to the fire, so to speak, to make them join you? And what are the moves? What comes after that? It's been nothing. It's not thought out right. You see what I'm saying? It's like, and Kyrie, sharp dude, great player, but sometimes I think he just overthinks things, man. I think, it's like when people try to be the smartest one in the room too much, man. Like, chill. Like John Wall said, man, it's like he be on his own plane thinking wise, but it's something they gotta look at. As far as making sure they can protest and do what they need to do to keep their voices heard. What bigger platform than to do it during the NBA season, during the game? That's just something the league gonna have to let happen because they see what's going on. There's nothing they can do. They can try all they want, man. I think they're aware that that's what it is. You see what I'm saying? And then, Raymond, when you brought up Lou Williams, the arrogance of some of these players to really think that by us sitting up here watching them play basketball for 2 hours, we gonna forget what the hell is happening in the street. Like we ain't black all of a sudden. That's stupid to me. Like, think, man. Like, people really not thinking. They just jumping on BS. Or like a lawyer trying to fight these cases so these people can get justice. George Floyd lawyers gonna really say, hey, LeBron playing, forget this crap. What's going on? Oh, man, he killing Kawhi. Like, you really, come on, man. Think. That's not gonna stop nothing. And if y'all do what y'all supposed to do and keep talking about it, even though games going on, man, look, when reporters ask for presser, articles, want to talk to you and stuff like that, make sure you put that in there. Like, we could talk, but we got to adjust this first. And if the reporter is professional and understanding and real with themselves, they will allow it. That's easy. Because that should be one of the main issues throughout this end of the season when you're talking about it. So what bigger platform than that? During the games or whatever, during the season as the season finishes. It makes no sense to me why this is such a big thing. You could do both. And the fact is, you're going to have to do both. It is what it is. It's nothing you can do about it because of the CBA, because of the finances. And then saying you want to help a lot of the black community, still fight, get equality and justice. But what about the black men and women that are employed by the NBA, the teams, the staffs, the concession workers, the ushers in the arena, the janitors, the bus drivers to the arena, the pilots of the team playing it, the training staff, the PR people, everyone up the ladder that makes this thing go as a business so you can go out there and do what you do and play ball and make a lot of money doing it. What about their livelihood? Because that's what, like, I know for a fact, talking to people in the Wizards organization, man, Ted ain't got paid. They haven't taken a check since April. Now, you might say he's a billionaire, he can afford it. I hear what you're saying, but put yourself in his shoes. He's losing money from the Wizards, the Mystics, and the Capitals. And the Go-Go. My bad. Go-Go too. He's taking hit. So they literally seeing millions not coming that they're accustomed to seeing a week. Now put yourself in his shoes. But he's the type talking to a lot of people for the franchise. They saying he has not fired anybody. So they took the biggest hit. I heard they recently had a meeting where they said the other executives, you making like close to six figures, you got to take a pay cut. But he does not want to fire anybody. If this thing does not go down the season, people will be out of jobs. And mostly that's going to affect people like us. So what about them? You see what I'm saying? Like, it makes no sense. People really have to just calm down and look at the entire picture and not what just benefits them at that moment. Lastly, the economics of the league. The majority of the players in the league need that money. If you're a two-way player, a rookie, a vet on a minimum deal, you don't have the money to just give away like that. I have no way to get that back if you were to sit out the season or if the season shuts down completely. The money also closes the economic gap for our community and allows players to get and use resources to help the community in this battle for justice and equality. It's common sense, man. The real is players are already losing an estimated $300 million in salary this season right now. Terminating the rest of the season would cost 25% of the salary, with owners exercising a forced majeure provision clause, which means they're going to rip up the CBA if the owners feel like that's the only result. So right now, as far as the CBA is concerned, it's a 50-50 split, which is unheard of in pro sports. Ask the NFL players that. Okay, so it's a 50-50 split. They rip up that CBA, it won't be a 50-50 split going forward. It's going to be a lockout, and the owners will be getting their money back one way or another. That's on top of losing an additional 10% held in escrow. NBA players will stand to lose if they don't play the season $1.2 billion in salary this season. And then if the owners put in use the clause, that will rip up the CBA. There will be a lockout, so you're going to lose even more money during the season next year. On top of setting things back for future players who can come in and make an extreme amount of money from the get-go. You pretty much going to send this joint back to the early 90s. Remember, we just got through with The Last Dance. Dudes was making $2 million winning multiple championships with best player in the league. Like, come on now. Picture LeBron like, I'm making $2 million a season. Y'all really want to go back to those days? So, really think about this, man. And the agents feared that the owners would do that if players do not play the season. So you gotta look at the entire picture. I mean, you got people up here calling LeBron James a sellout because he yeah, we could do both. Are you kidding me? Come on, man. I got my things with LeBron with the controlling the narratives and stuff and making excuses when he don't come through or when the team don't come through. That's on the court, dog. Off the court, you can't really attack that man. He done did it all. And some of these players or fans that attack him, calling him a sellout, ain't did nothing. You see what I'm saying? So it's just like, you got to be realistic about the business side of it, man. It's their job. This is what it has to do. It affects a lot of people, whatever decision they make. Me just breaking down everything, to me, they really don't have a choice. They just got to be smart when they get down there, make sure they ain't moving stupid, but they ain't putting themselves in harm's way as far as contracting this virus. You listen to your body and just do what you love to do. Y'all say y'all love to do. Cool. And the reason why a little bit more with Kyrie, why it falls on deaf ears, fool, you hurt anyway. You're not playing anyway. So what are you talking about? You wasn't gonna play anyway. So fall back, dog. Like, this ain't, dog, do what you protest. If you willing to lose it all, sit out, please. Or by all means, do it. No one's stopping you. Do what you do. Have fun. But to really try to jam this up and stuff like that, at this point, man, to me, it was just selfish. It was selfish as hell, man. And I'm not the only one saying it, man. There's a lot of people I talk to across the league that feel the same way, man. That's why what they saying, it started with 80 players, and another call, and 40 players. It's getting less and less. You see what I'm saying? Because they realize it's really no plan. It was just to say something. So if you don't have a plan, why even speak up? It's just causing friction for no reason. So they got to take a page out the WNBA book, become realistic with what it is, be united, and just go out down there and get the job done. Because it might end up being something beautiful that they're not even thinking about, and it will, in fact, create a lot of change moving forward.
One of the things I wanted to add in that Ed Davis interview, that's something that he said. Think about what could come from everybody being stuck in one place in terms of having those conversations, the plans, the fact that you come out of this whole bubble situation with legit plans, and then you're just executing it because y'all were around each other during this. And being able to get on one page, similar to what we've seen in the WNBA in the past. And I know you mentioned the maturity and the thing, and that's the funny thing there is that WNBA's done this routinely, where they've done both, and that's while getting paid, being severely underpaid in the process. But if anybody have anything to add about to close things out, anybody have anything else?
No, I mean, made a lot of good points.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ray.
Yeah, go ahead.
Financially, I mean, they basically, like you said, Cardell, they really don't have a choice. A guy like Kyrie, like a lot of people said, he probably can afford to do this. Like, if you can afford it and it makes sense for you, and you don't want to play, do that. But
Yeah.
don't and if it doesn't, you can still, go down there, do your thing. Like we've seen, look at Natasha Cloud. Like she went on a multi-week long blackout, uh, talking about gun violence in DC. Like reporters ask her questions, she will respond with, "We need to do something about this gun violence." Like it's possible. So so yeah, like I said in my original statement, like I can see both sides of it. Just do what makes sense, and yeah, I'm glad you like broke it down for in those multiple levels, Cardell, about how many people it impacts, because and then mentioning the CBA and the force majeure clause as well, because I don't think people really understand what that truly means. But yeah, it's a lot, but I think people are smart enough to navigate through this in a way where there's not a lot of collateral damage, and ultimately it's on the players, like you guys said. When during your media availability, make sure it remains a topic. Don't let it die down, and fans as well. Continue with your posts, continue to be out there and continue to make your voice heard. But yeah, I just don't like people being attacked one way or the other. Like I don't like people going at Kyrie, or when I don't like people calling people sellouts. Like it's unnecessary and it's counterproductive.
It is. It is. But one thing about Kyrie, man, like his reputation is why people are attacking him. You know what I'm saying? Like as far as
Yeah,
being a
I
leadership,
get
that
that.
aspect, that's what people nag. It's like, bro, you ain't got the best track record to be speaking up. And the thing is, one thing I not Kyrie in this thing, but in general, what I hate about a lot of people when they don't take the time to just relax and look at the whole thing, put themselves in other people's shoes. Like when me and my man from
Mm,
the Wizards was talking, we was just saying, Admiral Schofield for the Wizards, he's a two-way player. He don't have John Wall, Brad Bill money. He needs to play. He need this money, man. Like he need it. You know what I'm saying? He been busting his butt. He try, and plus not just for that, he needs it to sustain his career. It's a draft coming up. You see what I'm saying? And he's losing reps. So I don't want somebody that's making 9 figures and set for life, you know what I'm saying? As long as he's managing his money, speaking for me, we're not in the same boat. We're not in the same situation. So you can't sit up here and just get 80 players in the talk. And there's been stories about some of the young players in the league hit them up like, yo, how y'all get to talk and speak for us? Where we gonna have a seat at the table? See, that's what I mean by how disorganized it is and stuff like that. And
mm,
it comes back to the point where, like, man, look, everybody don't need to be taught. Everybody ain't built to be a leader and speaking out, man. Like, play your position, help out, but it's clear certain people are not qualified to do this thing because it caused more friction and more drama than help the situation. And we try to get to a point where the situation is being helped, so we go focus on the things that matter. Right now, they're so divided. Even if they were to pick up and play tomorrow, how are they going to really make a real effective impact as far as fighting racial equality and making sure that their voices are heard? Because they all over. It's one group over here, another group over here, another group over here. You know what I'm saying? It's just
mm,
real. So this is the time to be, like I said, don't. I'm not trying to attack Kyrie, but he got to relax sometimes, man. Like really, if you're gonna step up and do that, talk to everybody, think about everybody. Because even with the
right.
9 figures from the league, still getting Nike money, he still got endorsements and stuff. He said he cool, but Aaron Schofield, I
Yep.
still got to get there. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, man, look, if I don't play and they cut things back, like, what if it's a lockout? The G League players, what they gonna do? You know what I mean? Like they out of a
Yeah.
job now. It's just it affects a lot of people that they're not thinking about because it's a little bit of an entitlement and stuff like, what about us and all that, or what about them? I mean, look, dog, the game was here before y'all, and the game's gonna be here after y'all, and it's nothing new what y'all dealing with because I look at Bill Russell and all them, they were dealing with this stuff on a daily basis. Like Bill Russell was winning championships going home, and his blood on his walls, crosses burning on his yard, feces on the bed and stuff like that. He was Martin Luther King being assassinated. They still went out and played because they just felt it's our job to give these people a break or something like that. They had to live
Hmm.
through this craziness. Like we living through, but not it. I mean, it was way worse. It was like on steroids what we saying now. Like people getting hung, like the alarm will
Yeah,
break
yeah,
down.
yeah,
That was
absolutely.
all. So I would honestly talk to them. They could possibly, the Bill Russells, the guys from that area, Kareem's, they could possibly navigate you through this whole situation and give you good advice and stuff. But just saying like 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 they haven't even experienced nothing like this to understand how to navigate it. Dealing with the coronavirus, dealing with the social issues, it's so much, and it's so much dialogue that needs to take place. What was y'all doing the last few months? Is what I'm saying. So right now, off the back, to just come out with this a coalition, a challenge. Why are we about to get set up? Like now, you want to come out and challenge it? It just caused a whole lot of drama where the league should be focusing its energy on making sure these players are safe when they get to Orlando, and that's it. And now it's taken away from that, and they're kind of on the backtrack, so to speak. So I just feel like, in a sense, it was real selfish and all that. And like you said, to a man, Chris Paul said it. If you want to make a stand and don't want to play, respect. But no, you're not gonna get paid either. You know what I mean? So you gotta understand what comes with that. But guess what? You can't have it both ways. If you're gonna make a stand, you gotta understand you're gonna sacrifice something. And I think a lot of these dudes think they can try to weasel away, make a stand, and still be good. It don't work like that. So you gotta some tough questions. And by all means, respect to Kyrie for putting it on the table. And like I said, once again, if this is how it was said, because we weren't there on the phone, it could be taken out of context. Just like I saw John Wall, what he said, all they said was, I agree with Kyrie, but if you read the full thing, that's not really what he said. You know what I'm saying? He said, I understand Kyrie's point. That don't mean totally I agree with what he's saying. But you know how our peers in the media are, they got to get those clicks and views and stuff. So they want to. So it is what it is, man, which is disgusting. It's terrible, but they switch people's words. But like I said, man, if his words weren't taken out of context, man, just think outside yourself, man. Because your decision, the decision of these players, it's only 450 players in the league, but it affects millions, literally. I mean, seriously, though. Like, look how many media members got fired because there's no sports to cover. It's just no point. They don't have the budget. The people cancel subscriptions. They not paying attention no more because they know sports ain't going on. People lost jobs and they on furlough and all. It's crazy right now. So if you really want to help, the best thing to do, honestly, to really help a lot of people, play. Do what you love to do. And just be smart. Make sure you don't get contracted with the coronavirus. That's just the real realization, because you don't want these owners to tear that up. You don't want them to tear that CBA up. It's gonna get ugly. It's gonna get ugly, man. Picture around $2 million a season.
Yeah. So I mean, that's it. If you go backwards, there's no getting back to this point. You know, and that's the thing is.
Absolutely not.
And I think that's the hardest part, like Cardell said, looking at everything. I think that's a great idea. They should go talk to Bill, man, talk to Kareem, get some insight, man. Talk to honestly, go talk to go talk to folks that lived through that era, and then go talk to the folks that gave up everything. So you can decide which, you know what I'm saying, which place you want to go. Go ahead, Cardell.
And real quick, one quick story. I think in the '64 All-Star game, they did just that. It was the first All-Star game that was going to be nationally televised. So it was big TV money. The league had them in, but the players were unsatisfied with the conditions, having to play back. They would play a game on Saturday night and then would play Sunday afternoon after like church service or something like that. They said it was too much wear and tear on their bodies. They didn't have athletic trainers to treat them at the time, amongst other things. You see what I'm saying? A lot of stuff that was promised to them. So they were strategic. They were fine. They said, okay. They actually, Bill Russell said, we had a meeting where we met with them. And they just kind of blew it off. The team owners was like, we'll get it to you. It was kind of like they carried them. He was like, okay. So they waited to that All-Star game, came in, got dressed, and locked the door. They're like, yo, we about to start. We ain't coming out till you get us what y'all said y'all was going to give us. What? Owners was mad. They was threatening to cut them off. Elgin Bailey and them reading the newspapers like, dog, all this could be over when y'all say y'all write on the paper. We getting everything y'all said y'all was going to give us. If not, this game is going to be paid, and y'all ain't going to get paid by the TV network. So y'all need to make a decision. So they sat right there. The owners was kicking and screaming, threatening them and stuff like that, man. Finally, they gave in. They put out a napkin, wrote the terms, owners signed it. Ja got done. He said, all right, let's go play. And they got what they wanted. But what was the difference for them compared to now? They were unified.
Leadership.
And that was the beginning of players doing all that. Like, see what I'm saying? That's where you get the game from. Talk to them. Because a lot of these people they just not educated enough, and they don't have enough know-how to lead this situation. But you got to deal with somebody that kind of that been there and done that, man. And right now, just saying not to play, That ain't gonna work right now because you gonna mess up a lot of people.
Absolutely right. Want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. As always, follow us along throughout the week on social media, The Focus TV. Also, get over to Finest Magazine. Latest issue is out. Get over to My Mono Sports. Again, that's finestmag.com, mymonosports.com. See you guys next week, same time, same place.